Hi, I'm Brad Hedrick. I'm the Director of the Division of Rehabilitation Education Services at the University of Illinois. Just as James Naismith is synonymous with the creation of the game of basketball, the University of Illinois and its the founder of this division, Timothy J. Nugent, and the earliest student athletes of this program are synonymous with the development of wheelchair basketball as a sport played both locally, regionally, nationally, and internationally. And so we're very proud here of three elements of this program. That tradition of our program in pioneering the development of this opportunity for people to be involved in the great sport of basketball and wheelchair basketball. And then secondly, I think the excellence of the program, that early on it was realized that we are truly student athletes, that individuals here have very little opportunity for lucrative professional careers in basketball, and that though basketball is a very enjoyable avocation in which individuals can distinguish themselves, the most important eye on the target goal of our students has always been investing in their academic development, and their preparation for successful careers. And so those things have been intertwined here, that our student athletes are placed in this university. They're in one of the top universities in the world with the incredible infrastructure and support and resources of this campus. But at the same time, we try to provide them with a resource for training and for developing their athletic potential and their athletic knowledge on the same par that this institution prepares them for their professional careers. And as a result of that focus and that very sort of academic approach to the study of sport and understanding how to most effectively and efficiently teach sport, we've been able to actually experience considerable success in winning numerous national championships in a wide range of adapted sports, particularly in wheelchair basketball for both men and women over the many decades that we've been in existence. The third thing I think is very important about this program is, in addition to our tradition and our focus on the development of the whole individual and on athletics and academics as well as athletics, is the sense of leadership that I think is always exuded by our coaches, but also by our student athletes in not only attempting to develop their own knowledge and skills and perfect their abilities to perform in athletics to the greatest extent possible, but then to turn around and offer what they've learned through their experience at University of Illinois to others who may not have had that opportunity. And that's really been, when I arrived here in 1977, I met an individual who's a member of the Hall of Fame who was a student athlete in this program and one of the earliest authoring coaches in this sport, and that was Ed Owen. And the thing that always amazed me about Ed Owen was that Ed would work hours and hours perfecting the most minuscule skill in wheelchair basketball. And the moment he had it perfected, his first thought wasn't, who can I beat with this skill? But Ed's first thought was always, who can I teach this to? And I like to think that the spirit of Ed continues and it's permeated this program, and it continues today. That one of the first things that we'll want to try to do in this program is always to share the knowledge that we've gained through our experiences and our programs with others. And there's a phenomenal outreach effort that's been here, again, since the early days when we actually helped to formalize wheelchair basketball through the National Wheelchair Basketball Association, and our athletes played instrumental roles in the creation of conferences and teams. But today, in working to create opportunities for instruction and for competition for youth with disabilities, and to spread opportunities for instruction across the country, but also internationally, to provide mechanisms for the experiences here and for the knowledge we've gained to be shared with an international audience of wheelchair basketball enthusiasts. And so those really are three elements that I think set us apart in many respects from many programs. The tradition, the the focus on academic and athletic excellence, and third, the leadership that we like to cultivate in our athletes.
Hi, my name is Eric Streeter, the head graduate assistant athletic trainer for the University of Illinois men's and women's wheelchair basketball teams. Not all exercise is suitable for everyone. To reduce the risk of injury, consult your doctor before beginning this or any exercise program. The instruction presented herein is in no way intended as a substitute for medical counseling. The first step in injury prevention is proper maintenance of equipment. Without maintaining your equipment properly, you'll be working harder than you need to in order to push yourself up and down the court, which could predispose you to injury. The first part of a good exercise program is a proper warm-up. Before any lifting or basketball activities, you should always have a proper warm-up in order to increase your heart rate, as well as to prepare your body for exercise. Ways that you can do this include pushing harder to the gym than you would on a day-to-day basis, doing some laps around the court, or shooting and rebounding before you begin your stretching. After the warm-up, you should do a proper stretching program. Denny, Emily, and I are going to demonstrate some stretches for you here in order to show you how to do this properly. What we're going to show you is the right side, but I also want you to remember to do the left side as well, and to hold these stretches for 10 seconds and do 2 sets of these 10-second stretches. The first stretch that I'm going to have them demonstrate for you is right hand up. Note how they're doing this by keeping their elbow straight and then pulling back at the wrist. This is stretching the front of their forearms. The next stretch is right hand down. Again, keeping their elbow straight, just pulling their hand back toward them, stretching the back of their forearms. The next stretch is right arm across. Again, trying to keep their arm as straight as possible, just pulling their arm across with the other arm, trying to get a good stretch of the back of the shoulder. If you have any pain in the front of the shoulder, you should discontinue this stretch. The next stretch is right arm up. This is a stretch for the tricep muscle right here in the back of your arm. What they're doing is they're pulling their arm down their back and getting a good stretch in their shoulder as well as in their tricep. Again, remember to hold these stretches for 10 seconds and do 2 sets of these 10-second repetitions. The next stretch is twist to the right. Notice how they're grabbing their wheels and pulling themselves across their bodies, getting a good stretch of the lower back. Again, remember then to twist to the left. The next stretch is to lean forward in your chair. Again, this is another stretch for the low back. And notice how they're grabbing their foot plates and just pulling themselves forward in their chair, getting a good stretch of the low back. Again, if you have any pain or discomfort with these stretches, discontinue them or just decrease the intensity that you're using. After this, we're going to stretch out the head and neck. The first stretch is head to the right. Notice how they're holding onto the wheels with their left hand while they pull with the right hand. This is getting a good stretch of the trap muscle as well as in the neck. After this, the next stretch is head to the left. Again, holding onto the wheel and holding for 10 seconds. And then the next stretch is head down. Again, just pulling with both hands on the back of their head, trying to pull their chin into their chest. The next stretch is partner stretches. The first partner stretch that you can do is external rotation. These stretches are for the rotator cuff muscles in your shoulder. What Emily's doing here is she's supporting Denny's elbow and providing pressure back in order to stretch out the external rotators. The next stretch is internal rotation, just the opposite. Emily's supporting Denny's elbow again and pulling back, this time in the opposite direction. The next stretch I'm going to show on Denny is a stretch for the chest muscles. What I'm going to do is stabilize this chair with my knee and just pull back, stretching Denny's chest. And the last partner stretch is, instead of pulling out to the side, I'm going to pull down from below in order to stretch the front of the shoulders, which are the structures that will be involved if you have any impingement problems. These are the stretches that we commonly do at the University of Illinois and that they do before every practice. The last part of your workout, after you're done with the basketball part of it, is a proper cool down. What this does is it helps to decrease the heart rate gradually and helps to decrease the soreness for the next workout. Always make sure that you get a proper cool down. You take your time before you leave the gym. Lastly, I'd like to talk about some basic injury care. Obviously, in wheelchair basketball, injuries can happen. The first basic type of injury that I want to talk about is wounds and abrasions. The first step is to make sure that the wound is clean. The easiest way to do this is with soap and water that you can get in your bathroom. If you have access to hydrogen peroxide, this works very well for cleaning out wounds as well. After that, put some antibiotic ointment on the wound or the abrasion and keep it covered either with a Band-Aid or something similar to that. After this, especially when you're playing, you need to protect it with the dressing. Another common injury in wheelchair basketball is musculoskeletal injuries. These are injuries to the joints and muscles of your body. The easiest way to deal with these is to immediately put into action the RICE plan. RICE is an acronym for rest, ice, compression, and elevation. This should be used for 72 hours after the injury. Rest, just take yourself out of the play. Ice, you need to get ice on the injury as soon as possible, and you can ice for 20 minutes and then take an hour off and then another 20 minutes for as long as you want to do that. Compression, if you have an elastic wrap, compress the injury in order to decrease further swelling. And elevation, try to get the injury above your heart in order to, again, keep the swelling to a minimum. If pain is still present after these first 72 hours, you need to consult your physician or see a certified athletic trainer.
Welcome to the University of Illinois Wheelchair Basketball Instructional Series. Hi, I'm Coach Frogley. I'm the head coach of the men's and women's teams here at the University of Illinois. In addition, for the past 8 years, I've served the Canadian men's national wheelchair basketball team as head coach. The University of Illinois has enjoyed a tradition of over 50 years of excellence and leadership in wheelchair basketball. The U of I men's and women's teams have developed a proven track record of success with 24 national championships to their credit. U of I graduates have gone on to become leaders here and around the world in wheelchair sports. For years, we've provided opportunities for youths with disabilities to learn the game of wheelchair basketball from the coaches and staff of the Fighting Illini at our junior sports camps. Now we've taken much of what we teach at our junior wheelchair basketball camps and presented it on 3 unique DVDs.
Hi, I'm Grant Misens. I graduated from the University of Illinois with a bachelor's degree in economics and was a part of the wheelchair basketball program here for 5 years. While I was at the U of I was selected to the Australian men's national team and competed at the Gold Cup World Championships in 2002, and I'm looking forward to competing in the Paralympics in Athens in 2004. The sport of wheelchair basketball gave me the opportunity to come to the US and study, and it has truly enriched my life. In this instructional series, you will learn the fundamental skills that have served as the backbone for the University of Illinois' success. You will learn to teach these skills to others, yet you will also be provided with drills that will help you improve as an athlete. In this 3-disc set, we will take you through individual skills on DVD number 1, small group skills on DVD number 2, and team skills on DVD number 3.
Hi, my name is Christina Ripp. I'm a University of Illinois graduate in community health, and I have been a part of the wheelchair basketball program for 6 years. While I was at the U of I was selected to play for the United States women's wheelchair basketball team. I've played 2 Gold Cup World Championships, I've participated in the 2000 Sydney Paralympic Games, and I look forward to the 2004 Paralympic Games in Athens, Greece. As you work through each DVD, there are several points to remember. Each DVD has been constructed with a developmental sequence in mind. Instruction begins at the introductory level and progresses to a more advanced level. You will find that it is best to watch each instructional unit in the order in which we have presented them. After you've become familiar with the fundamentals, use the chapter search to review a particular skill. The drills which support each skill are at the end of each DVD.
One of the most powerful tools this DVD has to offer is your registration number. Put this DVD into your computer and follow the DVD-ROM link to our exclusive website. Registration has its benefits. When you register your product online, you'll receive exclusive access to the University of Illinois coaching staff. This access will allow you to ask questions of the coaching staff, receive updates to the curriculum, and be made aware of new products as they become available. I'll be your coach for the chapters on chair movement and shooting. Grant Meisens will coach you through the chapters on ball handling and the drills at the end, and Christina Ripp will coach you through the chapter on dribbling. Now, let's play some basketball. At the core of your ability to play the game of wheelchair basketball will be your ability to move your wheelchair. The keys will be speed, quickness, and power. A sound forward push is important so that the athlete is maximizing his or her power and so that he or she does not push in a way that will cause an injury over time. Key points to forward pushing to keep in mind are hand position, thumb position, trunk position, and head position. In order to generate the maximum force in her push and limit injury, her hands start at approximately 12 noon and push to 3 on the wheels. Watch how her hands hit the wheels with her thumbs pointing forward and then to the floor as she finishes her stroke. Trunk position is at 45 degrees during the hand strike without the head extending beyond the knees. The head is up so she can see the court. Key points to forward pushing to keep in mind are hand position, thumb position, trunk position, and head position. For players of lower classification, the range of the push on the wheels may be less and the trunk may not be completely forward to 45 degrees, but the overall principles are still followed. As with the forward push, when pushing backward, the athlete should pull backwards, generating the maximum power and reducing the chance of injury. The key points to keep in mind are hand position, thumb position, trunk position, and head position. In order to generate the maximum force in her push and limit injury, her hands start at approximately 3 o'clock and finish close to noon on the wheels. Again, watch how her hands begin on the wheels with the thumbs on top of the wheel pointing forward. Her trunk position is similar, beginning at 45 degrees and having a slight backward motion in the beginning of her push. She should look over both shoulders as she pushes so that she doesn't run into anything. The key points to keep in mind are hand position, thumb position, trunk position, and head position. Players of different classification will have different ranges in their push, but all should follow the general principles. A good stop will keep the athlete in control of his or her wheelchair. The key points to keep in mind are the trunk leaning backward, elbows locked, and the hand grip. His trunk leans back over his rear axle so that the majority of his weight presses down on the wheels, helping him to stop more quickly and prevent sliding. His arms are straight with his elbows locked to prevent him from being pulled forward by the momentum of his stop. Lastly, he grips onto the wheels, but he does not pull back on them, which reduces skidding. The key points to keep in mind are the trunk leaning backward, elbows locked, and the hand grip. Turning allows a player to go around another player or adjust his or her position so he or she can move right or left. The key points to keep in mind are the stationary hand, the moving hand, trunk position, and head position. Her inside hand holds the wheel and doesn't move, while her outside hand pushes forward as it did in the forward push, starting at approximately 12 noon and finishing at 3 with the thumb on top of the wheel. Her head is up and her trunk is leaning forward at 45 degrees during the hand strike on the wheel. Key points to keep in mind are the stationary hand, the moving hand, trunk position, and head position. Pivoting allows a player to position himself or herself to move right or left without giving up position on the court because the player always occupies the same spot. This is critical on defense and when setting picks. The key points are starting hand position, hand movement, and quarter turning. As she starts her pivot to the right, she moves her right hand to a 3 o'clock position and her left hand to a 12 noon position. She then grips the wheel with her thumb pointing forward and moves each hand in an opposite direction. The pivot results in a 90-degree change in direction or quarter turn. Again, watch where the hands start and how they move. The key points are starting hand position, hand movement, and quarter turning. Picking up a basketball is important because during a game, there are going to be loose basketballs. You must be able to pick up the ball while still protecting it and not losing your speed. The key points are balance, ball position, and using the wheel. Her left hand grabs onto the back of her wheelchair to give her balance as she leans to pick up the basketball. Her right hand presses the basketball onto the wheel. It's very important that she presses the basketball against the wheel in front of the rear axle. As the wheel moves around, the ball is carried up to the top of the wheel. Her Her hand goes under the ball and scoops it off the wheel when the ball reaches the top. The key points are balance, ball position, and using the wheel. The lower the classification, the more important it is that they use their free hand to get their balance as they pick up the basketball. The bounce stop allows players to maintain control of the ball when they stop while still protecting the ball from the defense. The key points are the bounce, the stop, and the catch. The player holds the ball out and away from his body. He bounces the ball next to the front caster at an angle of about 45 degrees from the chair. His head is up all the time so that he can see the court. While he bounces the ball, the player grabs both wheels equally to practice stopping the chair. After grabbing the wheels, the player releases one hand to catch the ball, making sure that the catch is away from the body so the defense cannot reach out and grab the ball. Key points are the bounce, the stop, and the catch. The bounce spin allows a player to change direction while still maintaining control of the basketball and protecting it from the defense. The key points are the bounce, the spin, and the catch. The player holds the basketball out and away from his body. Bounces the ball straight down and approximately even with his rear axle. As he bounces the ball, the player grabs both wheels and pushes in opposite directions on the wheels so that he turns his chair and faces the ball as it bounces. The player catches the ball facing the opposite direction with his head up to see the court and holds the ball away from his body so the defense can't reach it. We showed you how we teach the bounce spin without movement. Now let's watch these same key points in action when a player's moving. Again, the key points are the bounce, the spin, and the catch.
Coach Frogley just took you through chair movement. Now let's do some ball handling. Every player needs to learn to be comfortable, confident, and strong when handling the basketball. The way to become comfortable, confident, and strong with the ball is to practice a series of simple drills. First are soft taps. The key points here are touching the ball with your finger pads, moving the ball around everywhere you can reach, what we call your volume of action, and keeping your head up so that you can always see the court. Next are power slaps. The key points here are grabbing the ball with your whole hand with strength, moving the ball all through your volume of action, and keeping your head up the whole time to see the court. Next, we have figure eights. The key points are the ball is on your finger pads, your head is up, and you do this as fast as you can. Remember that the figure eight crosses in front of your chest. Next is around the back. The key points here are the ball is on your finger pads, your head is up, and you do this as fast as you can. You might drop the ball, but that will happen as you learn and get better. Like with all of the ball handling skills, you want to continually challenge yourself. For example, as you practice around the back, you can change directions and close your eyes to make it more difficult. Concentrate on feeling the ball so that you can tell when you are touching a seam or a letter without looking at it, but by feel only. Next is clap and catch. This will help your hand speed and passing. The key points are the pass, sitting position, and your hands. The pass should be just over your head so that the ball comes down right behind your back. You need to be sitting straight up so the ball doesn't bounce off your back. Your hands need to be pointed in and up so the ball doesn't roll away. Don't pass the ball any higher than you need to and still be able to clap. Juggling helps you learn to use your peripheral vision to see the ball. It develops a soft touch in handling the ball and your ability to use both of your hands. Use your peripheral vision to see both basketballs. Don't focus on just one. Pass the ball softly and with control. Try changing directions. The great thing about juggling is you can make it harder by adding more balls, so you can always challenge yourself. The next is a drill we call quick draw. This helps develop hand speed. The key points are hand speed and hand position. Relax your hands by your side, just like an old gunfighter. When the ball is released from the back of your neck, clap your hands in front of your chest and then catch the ball behind your back. When you make the catch, make sure your hands are facing in and up so that the ball doesn't roll out of them. Be patient. This can be a tough drill until your hand speed improves. The key points are hand speed and hand position.
Okay, that was ball handling. Now let's look into the proper technique for dribbling. Every player needs to learn to be comfortable, confident, and strong in your dribble. You become comfortable, confident, and strong with your dribble by practicing a series of simple drills. The key points to remember about dribbling are using your finger pads, keeping your head up to see the court, and control. First is regular right-handed dribbling. Your head is up, the ball touches your finger pads only, and you have control of your dribble. Switch to your left hand and think of the same things. Your head is up, use your finger pads, and dribble with control. Now we are going to use a big dribble with your right hand. Follow the same principles. Your head is up, use your finger pads, and maintain control. Switch to your left hand and do the same thing. Your head is up, use your finger pads, and maintain control. Now we are going to use a small dribble with our right hand. Dribble as low as you can. You will need to have quick hands to do this well. Keep the same principles in mind. Your head is up, use your finger pads, and maintain control. Switch to your left hand and do the same things. Keep your head up, use your finger pads, and maintain control. Now you will use something we call a rocker dribble. Keep your head up, use your finger pads, and maintain control. Moving your hand forward and backwards, bounce the ball at an angle, forward and backward. Switch to your left hand and do the same things. Keep your head up, use your finger pads, and maintain control. One way to get the ball from one side of your body to the other is to use a power crossover dribble. Cup the ball with one hand and bring it low over your lap across to the other side of your wheelchair. Always keep your head up, use your finger pads, and maintain control. The key with this move is to make it strong and low over your lab so the defense can't steal the ball. One way to get the ball to the other side of your wheelchair is the power crossover. Another way is to dribble the ball behind your back. As you dribble the ball behind your back, make sure the dribbling hand has its palm facing the opposite wheel when you dribble the ball behind your back. This will make the ball come from behind your back to beside your wheel, making it easier to begin the dribble with the other hand. Keep your head up, use your finger pads, and maintain control. Practice dribbling it around your back in both directions.
Thanks, Christina. Now let's move on to shooting. I think we can agree that shooting's important. However, not everybody spends the time they need to learn good technique. Before you step out and shoot the three, you need to spend time learning good technique so that you can hit that game-winning jumper. We're going to show you two ways that we teach shooting. The first is what we call cowboy shooting, and the second we call beef. At the end, we'll go over some specific types of shots, layups, and free throws. Watch Jana shooting. We teach cowboy shooting to people who are first learning how to shoot. It gets a beginning player into good basic form. First, dangle your hands by your side, just like a cowboy getting ready to draw his gun. Next, draw your gun, and as you do that, pull back on your rear wheel with your off hand so that you're at a slight angle. Now, take your thumb on your shooting hand and put it on your eyebrow on the same side. Spread your fingers, face your palm forward, cock your wrist, bring your guide hand up, shoot, keeping your guide hand even with your face. Watch it one more time. First, dangle your hands by your side, just like a cowboy getting ready to draw his gun. Next, draw your gun, and as you do that, pull back on your rear wheel with your off hand so that you're at a slight angle. Now, take your thumb on your shooting hand and put it on your eyebrow on the same side. Spread your fingers, face your palm forward, cock your wrist, bring your guide hand up, shoot, keeping your guide hand even with your face. Once you have your basic form, we want to refine your technique. A really simple way to remember the key points is through the word beef. Beef stands for balance, eyes, elbow, follow through. First is balance. There are two types of balance: the ball's balance on your hand and your balance in the wheelchair. First, take the ball and place it in your lap. Put your shooting hand on the ball with your fingers across the seams with the inflation hole in between your index finger and your middle finger. Now, lift the ball up to your shooting position. The ball should rest on your finger pads. There should be a slight space between the heel of your hand and the ball. The space between your index finger and your thumb should make the letter J. Now you have a nice stable position for the ball to rest on as you shoot. Next is your balance in the wheelchair. You need to have a good foundation from which to shoot. For higher class players like Jana, the player on your right, you should have good posture. Jana has a nice straight back and keeps her back straight when she shoots, only extending straight up as she shoots. Emily, the player on your left, is a Class 1 player. In order to get her balance, she leans back into her backrest and maintains contact with her backrest the entire time she is shooting. Remember, balance of the ball on your hand and your balance sitting in the wheelchair. Next is eyes. Your eyes are up on your target before you start your shot. Your eyes need to have a target, and that target needs to be small and specific. Whether you look at the back of the rim or the front, you need to look at a small part of the rim. We usually use the front of the rim. Whichever you use, remember to have a small target. You're going to need a target for your follow-through, and the smaller your target, the less your follow-through will wander or drift. The second E is for elbow. Your elbow is under your hand comfortably and follows your hand straight up as you shoot. Your elbow should finish above your eye as you release the ball. Last is your follow-through. Your follow-through should be high with your elbow above your eye. Your hand should finish with your index finger pointing at your target, the front of the rim. Your hand is soft and waves slightly at the ball as it leaves your hand, making another letter J. Leave your follow-through up high until the ball goes through the net. Let's review beef. Balance, eyes, elbow, follow through. There are some specific points to add when taking certain shots. For layups, all the fundamentals remain the same with these added key points: angle, control, and target. Make sure you take a good angle. Have control of your wheelchair and don't take any extra pushes below the free throw line unless absolutely necessary. Start learning how to use the backboard. Your target now is the top corner of the box on the backboard on the side you are shooting from, and learn to shoot with either hand. For scoop layups or underhanded layups, you still leave your follow through up high with your index finger pointing at the target. Again, your target is the top corner of the box on the backboard on the side you are shooting from. For players of lower classification, you can use your offhand to maintain your balance as you shoot. For free throws, again, all the fundamentals are the same with the added key points: take your time, be consistent. First, remember beef. Now before you get the ball, take your time to get set with your rear wheels behind the free throw line. Make sure you have the exact same free throw routine each time. Once you have your technique consistent, you have to make it a habit to shoot well. To do that, you have to get lots of shots in, which is called volume shooting. Sit on various spots and just shoot over and over from that spot, preferably with a passer. This will help you get a rhythm.
Okay, now let's wrap up with some drills, practicing what we've learnt in this DVD. Before we get started, let's talk about some of the ways these drills can be used. First, each of these drills can be done by themselves. This will focus on the mechanics of the skill. Second, you can combine a number of these drills. For example, pick 4 drills, do each drill for 5 minutes, giving the athletes 2 minutes of rest between each drill. This will work on the mechanics of the skills, but more importantly, this can be a great way to develop fitness. The purpose of individual wheelchair skills is to develop your speed, quickness, and power. There is only one way to do these skills: all-out usage of every ounce of effort you have. The first wheelchair skill is called U-turns. This drill develops your speed in the pivot and quickness in adjusting your wheel position. She pulls back and behind the empty chair. As she pulls back, she looks down at the back wheel to make sure she doesn't hit the chair. Once she is behind the chair, she pivots out and explodes into her forward push on the other side of the chair. She repeats this again to return to the starting position. Next, we're going to do a drill we call Clovers. Clovers works on developing speed and quickness in your turns forward and backwards. Remember, you are turning and not pivoting. Hit all 4 points, making the shape of a clover. Partway through, change directions. Hopping is the next skill. Every now and then an opponent will try and hold you. To get away from them, you need to be able to hop. Just lift up on your chair and see how far you can hop sideways and how high you can get. Now for twists. Twists helps you to develop core strength in your trunk. In addition, they will help you get around opponents quickly without using your hands. There is nothing fancy here, just throw your weight back and forth. Your arms and hips will help a lot here. Let's look at tilting. Tilting has been one of the great advances in the game in the last decade. There are 2 basic types of tilting, defensive and offensive. Defensive tilting allows a player to lean into an offensive player to contest a shot. The keys to tilting are: pull up on the wheel to help get into the tilt, keeping your head up, and keep your weight back over your axle. Offensive tilting allows a player to lean away from a defender, creating the space needed to shoot the ball. The key points are similar to defensive tilting. Lean on your hand and away from the defense. Keep your head up and keep your weight back over the axle, almost leaning on the hand that is on the wheel. Offensive and defensive tilting can be done without any hands on your wheels too. Try and keep both hands above your head. You are going to fall down during the game. You need to learn how to fall properly, and you need to learn how to get up on your own so you can get back in the game. So ups are the next drill. When you are on your back, roll over and either walk your hands back to the wheelchair or use your muscles to pull the wheelchair under you. Let's look at pivots. You need to have speed, quickness and power in your pivot. The pivots drill helps you to better change directions when you are playing. Start by facing a coach or a teammate. Do a quarter turn or pivot in the direction the coach points. Make sure you recover your hands to a starting position after the pivot is done, so that you can move in any direction, just like in a game. Don't anticipate the direction, work on your reaction. The next drill is called two-handed overhead rebounding. You will develop hand strength, shoulder strength, and mental toughness in this drill. Push up to a clear wall. Have a teammate or coach behind you to keep you pressed against the wall. Raise the ball above your head and begin to bounce the ball against the wall. You can pound the ball hard or fast, either is fine. The key is to keep going and to keep the ball above your head. We need to have balance in all that we do, and Tug of War helps us strengthen our back muscles so we have that balance. Face a teammate of approximately the same size and strength. Tie your wheelchairs together by the front fender. Make sure you use a knot that is strong and can be undone easily. We recommend you use a square knot or a reef knot. Once you are tied together, start pulling and see who is the strongest. Let's look at lock-up dribbling. Players are going to try to push you around and take the ball. Lock-up dribbling will help you learn to handle the basketball through contact. Each player has a basketball in his or her dominant hand to start. With their free hands, they grab onto the other player's wheelchair. Grab on in a place where you will not crush your hand if the wheelchairs bang together. Try and shake your teammate's wheelchair while you dribble. Your teammate will be trying to do the same. Halfway through the drill, switch hands and do the same with your non-dominant hand. The next drill we just call lock-up. You need to develop balance and strong hands, and lock-up will do that. Tie your wheelchair to your teammates using a square knot or a reef knot. Each of you has a ball. Holding onto the ball, try and use your ball to knock your teammate's ball away. If you drop the ball, put your hands above your head until a coach or teammate has passed the ball back to you and you can begin again. Raging Bull is the next drill. This drill develops strength in your forward push and it teaches you how to compete. With a teammate who is about the same size and strength as you, face him or her and put your front bumpers together. Start pushing. Make sure you stay directly facing each other. If you turn a little, stop and reset yourselves. Maintain contact so that you don't bang into each other. Let's look at ball pickups. Ball pickups will develop your hand strength and trunk strength. Grabbing the ball with both hands above your head, slam the ball against the floor as hard as you can. Then, as fast as you can, pick the ball back up above your head. Higher class players will do this differently than lower class players. If you want an added challenge, have a coach or teammate hit the ball as you pick it up. The next drill is two-handed overhead fakes. You'll develop hand strength, quickness, and balance with this drill. Put a chair between you and the wall. Back up against that chair. We want space between you and the wall so that you can lean back and use your fifth wheel. Have a teammate or coach stand in front of you. The coach is going to hold up his or her hands, palms out. Hit his or her hands as hard as you can, switching from hand to hand as the coach moves. Coaches, don't put your hands in front of your face and keep your hands high. Two-handed overhead steals is the next drill. You'll develop hand strength, quickness, and balance with this drill. Put a chair between you and the wall. Back up against that chair. We want space between you and the wall so that you can lean back and use your fifth wheel. Have a coach or teammate stand in front of you. While you hold onto the ball and move it around, the coach is going to try and knock it out of your hands. Keep the ball high and don't bring it in front of your face. Let's look at Illini Tag. This drill develops your speed, quickness, power, and chair control. You and a teammate start on the baseline facing the free throw line. One of you sprints to the free throw line, stops as close to it as possible, pivots around to face the baseline, and sprints back. As soon as the first person crosses the line, the next person goes, and so on. You can have a teammate sit in front of you at the free throw line to make the drill more game-like. This drill develops your speed, quickness, power, and chair control. We will work on attacking the ball on defense with our jump and recover drill. In this drill, we work on technique and developing speed, quickness, and power. As you jump out on the ball, come out on a curve. Finish with your hand up after you have come to a complete stop and yell, "Ball." Recover straight back to the recovery spot, checking your shoulders as you go. Look for a new ball to attack and repeat the skill again. Picture yourself jumping out to attack an opponent you play often and try to take the ball from them before they pass. In this drill, we work on technique and developing speed, quickness and power. Christmas trees is the next drill. This drill works on your one-on-one defense. Pull back twice, quarter turn to the right, and then push forward once. Then pull back twice again, quarter turn to the left, and push forward once. Two key things to keep in mind. Do this as fast and as quickly as you can, and imagine you are playing defense against somebody. This drill works on your one-on-one defense. The next drill is power start and stop. This is the core drill we use to develop speed, quickness and power in our first two pushes. Starting on the baseline, facing the opposite baseline, have a teammate grab onto your wheelchair. Take two pushes forward as quickly as you can and come to a complete stop. Do this over and over until you reach the other baseline. At the other baseline, switch with your partner. The key to this drill is the effort you put into your pushes and how quickly you can learn to recover. Let's look at half-court toe. This drill develops your speed, quickness and power for your first 10 pushes. Starting on the baseline and facing the opposite baseline, have a teammate grab onto the back of your wheelchair. Sprint toward the other baseline as fast as you can with your teammate holding onto your chair. At half-court, your teammate should let go. Switch when you reach the other end. Focus on getting up to speed as quickly as possible and accelerating when your teammate lets go. This is the core drill we use to develop speed, quickness and power in our first two pushes. Half-court toe with twists is the next drill. This drill will develop your speed, quickness, power and turning when at top speed. Starting on the baseline and facing the opposite baseline. Have a teammate grab onto the back of your wheelchair. Sprint towards the other baseline as fast as you can with your teammate holding onto your chair. At half court, your teammate should let go. Keep pushing while you try and go around the obstacles. Focus on getting up to speed as quickly as possible and on maintaining your speed as you weave through the obstacles. This drill will develop your speed, quickness, power and turning when at top speed. Let's look at forward partner pulls. This drill develops overall speed, quickness and power in your pushing. Have a teammate grab onto the back of your wheelchair. With your teammate holding onto you, begin pushing around the outside of the basketball court as quickly as you can. When you get all the way around, switch places with your partner. Remember to keep your head up when you are pushing. The next drill is called backward partner pulls. This drill develops speed, quickness, power and muscle balance by going backwards. Have a teammate grab onto the front of your wheelchair. With your teammate holding onto you, begin pulling them around the court as quickly as you can. Your teammate will help turn your wheelchair as you go around the corners. Switch positions with your partner when you get all the way around.
All the skills you've been learning should be done together. Remember, basketball is a creative and fluid game. Use your imagination and put the different skills together so that you can use them in a game. hope that you benefit from this instruction. The goal of the University of Illinois has always been to maximize the potential in all individuals. By sharing our knowledge of the game of wheelchair basketball, we hope that you'll come closer to reaching your potential and achieving your goals. Remember, when you register your product online, you'll receive exclusive access to the University of Illinois coaching staff. This access will allow you to ask questions of the coaching staff, receive updates to the curriculum, and be made aware of new products as they become available. See you on the court.